Okay, so for those who don't know you, I thought I'd just kind of get you to give a little introduction to yourself. Tell us about yourself. When did the Notorious Lynch project start?
So that started in 2018. And so I had a few years off production from when I landed in the States. I kept DJing. So I've always been DJing. I'd say in my whole 20 years now, or whatever it is, I probably only had a year or two off where I haven't been DJing. So I even created Notorious Lynch because I saw a defected competition in 2018 with Point Blank Music School, DJ competition.
No way.
And I knew it was to enter a mix and, you get to playing defected Croatia or whatever it was. And I knew though, at the time I said, right, if you're going to enter here and your mix is good and they look you up, you don't have a profile, you're not a producer. And it didn't require you to be a producer, but I was saying you don't have a profile, you don't have an identity. So that's the way I was thinking. I was I wanted to get going again. And that was honestly, that was the reason I got going again. I created Notorious Lynch for that and started working on my first track.
And then in 2021, you joined us on the course. Do you remember what the motivation was for joining us?
Yeah, I mean, I've been following you for a long time and I saw what you were doing. But for me, I would say still the struggle to this day, but it's not because of knowledge. It's because I haven't applied it myself yet. And there's various reasons for that. But my initial motivation was social media, as you know, and something that you're very, very good at. So that was my initial thing. Okay, that course appealed to me because I get to work with you one-on-one and get your expertise, which I did. And to be honest, I haven't applied all that learning yet. And that's another story for me with my relationship with social media, because it's just something that I haven't really fully want to give myself yet, even though I know I have to. But the knowledge I got from the course. So the initial motivation was social media. I think when we talked, that's what I told you, I need help with this. When I did the course, I got so much more out of it, music business, Facebook advertising, promotion, other forms of promotion. So I got way more out of the course than I ever expected to get. But my initial motivations was social media help, Probably most people, I think.
Yeah, now you're in the first run, and that was we were all flying by the seat of our pants. And it was just each week was a learning for both sides, I think, and it was fun though. It was
great. Yeah, it was the beta version, and I think we had a good group, and I still in touch with a lot of the guys from it. And it was a good group, and I think being a beta version, it was very good. You have the online course now, which is excellent. I just started that actually recently again. I'm going to run through the whole thing online again, but you've refined it over time, but I thought the initial course was excellent, I really did. And I don't know if it was because it was beta and everyone was included, or it was a kind of I don't know how the new classes are, but I do keep up with some of the recordings from Facebook. But I think that's what you do as well, as you bring people together like that. So I haven't been in the other classes, but I know from the experience I had in that class, it was excellent. Whether it was a beta version or whatever it was, it was really good.
Yeah, that's cool.
It was, honestly.
It was good. It was good.
Really good.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It was good fun. And yeah, the online now just is refined, and I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy with where it is now. So it's good. I'm glad you're going back through it, because there's loads of new stuff in there that you're going to learn, which is good. I'm happy.
Yeah, and I get the emails and the updates and everything, and I am going to run through the whole thing online again. So I'll probably be able to give more feedback after I do that again, because comparing the two now that there's the online version and the update. But I'm looking forward to getting through that as well. I just actually you using calendars. I just use my own calendar now to set time aside at night to do certain things. And the courses want to get through the course again, because I want to start utilizing the Facebook skills again, and get some advertising going for Spotify and things like that. So
that's killer.
To know is the course. So
yeah, I love running Facebook ads. They're so good for growing records now. Let me know when you've done that bit, if you need a hand, because we refine it and building a playlist off of it is that part of this course now is so cool. It's step by step for ads, and it should be pretty. You should just walk you through it. But if you need a hand, just obviously they've got the group calls, and just jump back in and we can look through it as well.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Yeah, so I'll run through the course, and I was going to probably reach out to you anyway, just because I had a couple ideas and wanted to spin them off you and see if you wanted to use me as an experiment and help me out building a playlist and pushing some tracks as well, and use it then for the other artists in the new courses, because happy to be a guinea pig as well for that. But something I need to do, and I think everybody needs to do, is push your records with advertising, push your playlists. Otherwise, you're just playing the social media game. And like I said, for me, I have a funky relationship with social media where I'm not fully committing to it yet, because I let me say this, because like I probably like dancing around it, but like I don't think I've found my niche for social media yet. And what I mean by that is I don't just want to do what everyone else is doing. Like you give great content ideas, right? The stuff you put out is excellent, but I see a lot of people doing it, and I just don't want to do the same thing and jump on a bandwagon. I think when you see me fully engaged with social media, it's because I've found something that I don't think someone else is doing, and I'm confident I'll get there. But right now, I just don't have that, and I don't want to like commit to it yet, So
that's cool.
But that's to my own detriment then with going to the social media, and I understand that too,
That's cool. As long as the records are still doing well, so you must be doing something right. So then we started having all these releases. Obviously, you've done the course 2021. What did you get out of it that you can you've been using to kind of push your releases and get more out of your releases, make them essentially do better?
I think like your advice, like you were saying there, is like not releasing everything first of all, like understanding that like some stuff should be put aside. But I think even in your course, like you talk records as well, and like what records need, and running labels as well, and for a long time, like understand like what a released record needs and what it takes to get there. So I got a lot of that out of the course too. And big thing as well was like music business and publishing for me. Like you go through that as well, and understanding the composition of a song, who owns what rights, things like that. Like it's really strange. Like the music business is the music business, right? And we go down a rabbit hole, but like for an electronic music artist, you're the producer, you're the DJ. So you're the producer, you're the song composition, and then you're the royalty side of it, like when you release it. And if you have your own label, you're publisher, composer, songwriter, you're everything, And I don't know that like there's enough education out there around that. And I think your course caters to that too, because that's the industry you're in, So that's one niche I think you have there, that like it really helps electronic artists versus like reading a music industry book. The music industry doesn't change, but like what's a songwriter versus a producer? Like I'm a songwriter because I compose the tracks. I also produce the track. You're the artist when you release it. So it's kind of like your course helps drive that home for people as well, that you're each part of the record, and to understand your rights with that as well, to help you get paid on the back end. So
like obviously it is focused really on dance music and electronic music, because obviously that's what I know. And but you're right, so much of everything else is geared to bands and songs and songwriters, and it is confusing trying to to transpose it over for some people, which is, I'm glad that's helped, man. That's cool. That's really cool.
No, it's been really helpful, yeah. And I think like you're probably one of the only people doing that, and there needs to be more of education for like electronic music personnel. So the bigger your course gets, and like I hope people see this and like understand what they'll get out of that course, because that's essential for any like DJ producer,
And then from a label point of view, you've had some great Beatport success. Like I've been watching it, and it's like you keep getting these mad chart places. What are you doing? Have you got any tips? How do you get up there? How are you getting up the Beatport chart?
I probably could talk about Beatport all day, but I'd say like Beatport, like you really you probably know this as well, but like you got to understand how Beatport works, right? Like if you have a tech house track and you put out a single, like it's really, really difficult for that to chart in the main charts, right? That label would have to be signed up for Hype, and you have a better chance of hitting the Hype charts, because tech house is like the main genre in the world right now. Everybody's doing it. How many tracks are every week? It doesn't mean like if your track is tech house, call it deep house, because it just means like you got to like have expectations of what your track is and where it's going. So like even when you're signing for labels, like try and sign to a label that signed up for Hype, because you can get charting in the Hype easier than you will in the main charts. That's one thing. Another thing is conscious of like, for me with the label, I'm very conscious of like how I select the genre for the track. Like I won't cheat it, but you can cheat it. Like minimal deep tech, deep house are easier to chart in than tech house, 100%. You don't need as many sales. So I do see people doing that though, like putting a genre that doesn't make sense on a track to get in a chart, Afro house is probably easy enough to chart in, like because they don't get a lot of releases. But so there are a couple of things. Another big thing is releases. Like if you put a release out, the release charts are easier to hit than the singles chart. Like for instance, the Late Night Lovers track, the first release on the label, went up to like the number 3 release. I was right there behind Tool Room, but because the release was charting, not single, But for a label starting off, or for a DJ starting off, that's all exposure that like you need,
It's good social content as well.
It is. That's exactly it. Like then you get like do those things to get your social content, and then that opens people's eyes to like, who's this person? Let me check out their other music, and then you start to get followers on Beatport. So the next time you put music out, it's getting put in front of them. When you log in and you see the recommendations of what like you bought from other people. So there are some things you can do, and definitely some of the things I do, but be very conscious of like where you're putting the music and how you're putting it on Beatport, you know, because it all helps. Like, for you to try getting the top 100, like it's almost impossible unless you're a big name, you know. When we did the last release, the Rise remixes for Francis Davila, all the tracks charted eventually. Kratex one was the last one to get in, but everything charted. But Doc Brown's remix, which was a dubby remix, like ended up in the main charts, which was unbelievable, you know. Like that's that cool. Track like really hit the hype charts, but it went in the main charts too, which was great. But Beatport is a beast, you know, but they are the little things that I think like people should focus on, and just like really set expectations that like, you know, it's hard to chart depending on where you're putting it, but like when you're looking for a label, try and get a label that's in the hype charts, because you will chart easier there than you will in any of the others. But I think Beatport is definitely a necessary evil, because it's where the DJs buy their music. Like you've got to put your focus into Spotify now, you know.
Yeah, that's good. That's exactly it. Yeah, and I think also when you get in those charts, when you get in those hype charts, there are DJs that will just go and buy the hype chart, and they'll buy all the tracks in the top 20, and that's going to help push you up to the bigger chart anyway as well, which is, you know, it helps leverage that, you know.
And like the people may not know this, but like labels have to pay to be signed up for hype. It's like, you know, whatever it is, a monthly fee, but the big labels can't sign up for it. So like you're not going to see Defected or Tool Room in there because it's based on sales. People probably don't realize that like you can't be in the hype charts if you have a certain amount of revenue from Beatport. So you won't see the bigger labels in there. But like, for instance, like John Summit started his label, put out a track, fucking went to number 1 in the hype. Of course it does, because he's John Summit, you know. So like you're competing against stuff like that, but for the most part it's a lot more fairer game for smaller labels and newer artists, you know.
Yeah, because he would have been classed, his label would have been classed as a brand new label with no sales, and he would have been able to get in there. But then the second release, the third, probably not in there.
He's straight up there, like number 1 hype, and then like jumps in the main charts because his name and his followers, you know. But so like that's kind of cheating it, but like at the same time you're going to come up against that, and it's out of your control. So, you know, don't dwell on those things, just keep moving forward, you know.
And then finally, if you could sum up how working with us and the course was, and would you recommend it to others?
Oh yes, absolutely, highly recommend the course, and DT, like whether it's a radio show or like just doing a course if you're an artist, highly recommend working with Graham Farmer, data transmission, or anything associated with both. I've got so much out of that artist blueprint course, like it's really hard to put a monetary value on it, you know, so it's worth the investment. Like you get a lifetime relationship too, you know, like you're really good at supporting, you're running a business too, but you help a lot of people for free, which at times you could probably charge for. You're really great, man, at like helping people. And I think when you're considering the course, like the content and everything, everybody's going to get something out of it. But having a relationship with you two and like being able to pick your brain on some things, man, I think you do so much stuff for people that you don't probably get the credit for. That's why I would recommend it, because it's been amazing for me, man, and onwards and upwards now with the radio show, with what you're doing. Like I'm going to work with you on some of the Facebook advertising, and like I said, feel free to use me as a guinea pig for the course as well. But yeah, man, I highly recommend it, because it's like, again, no monetary value can be put on what I got out of it, for sure, you know.
Wicked. Thanks, dude.